she hiding, for you.
Good afternoon and welcome to News Daily. My name is Kelly Matheson, and today we bring to you a special report on the Brown Berets.
Santos, espíritus, redeem us from what's all about. Santos, espíritus, insanity is all around us.
The Brown Berets are a progressive group that formed in the late 1960s during the height of the Vietnam War. They emerged in the United States as a vital organization which links students to communities and to young people not enrolled in college. The Brown Berets originated in Los Angeles, California as the Young Citizens for Community Action, commonly referred to as the YCCA. The YCCA wanted to improve the community through civil involvement. The group was funded by Father John B. Luce, a rector for the Episcopal Church of the Epiphany in Lincoln Heights. The YCCA opened a coffee house called La Piranha, which doubled as an office and meeting place where prominent civil rights speakers spoke to the Chicano youth. The coffee house brought a lot of negative attention and abuse by the Los Angeles Police Department. The YCCA responded by organizing protest demonstrations against local sheriff stations. One leader, David Sanchez, viewed the police harassment at the coffee house as a symptom of the larger problem of police brutality against the Chicano community and advocated a more military stance. In January of 1968, with a new image and uniform, the group was now the Brown Berets. The Brown Berets focused on a social change through centering on a small, well-trained and disciplined militant individual who could serve the community as guardians and leaders in collective actions. The members of the Brown Beret chapters were not only in California or the southwestern United States and Texas, but branched all across the country to remote places such as Kansas City, Seattle, and Minnesota. Membership was not only male, but for many years held roles for women as well. Membership branched from chapter to chapter, which included high school students, college students, workers, as well as dropouts.
Hi, my name is Yesenia. The developments which led to the Chicano Moratorium were caused by the Vietnam War. The war was a devastation made up by a high percentage of Mexican Americans. Many Chicanos ended up in the war because of drafts. Chicano soldiers were assigned to combat units and a whole bunch died. Due to many deaths, the movements got huge as well the number of people who participated along the marches. The students who gratefully stayed behind and the Brown Berets were activists of the National Chicano Moratorium Committee in 1969. The movements were to protest against the war and wanted the U.S. to unleash their loved ones. Police wanted to prevent chaos among civilians who were in favor of anti-war. Then the National Chicano Moratorium was held in East Los Angeles on August 29, 1970, where Chicanos all over the country gathered for support at Laguna Park. The Chicano Moratorium was huge, which created chaos among cops and protesters who were marching, which local police argued that a robbed incident occurred nearby Laguna Park, so they had to intervene. They didn't only intervene, it was more of a confrontation, leaving 3 Chicanos killed, 61 injured, and 200 arrested, but didn't stop them from protesting until soldiers were brought back from the Vietnam War.
I'm here in Los Angeles covering a tragedy that occurred earlier this very day. It was while covering the Chicano Moratorium to the Vietnam War that Los Angeles Times reporter Ruben Salazar met his death. My sources describe him as a brilliant journalist with a penchant for truth and social justice. Because Salazar had been threatened repeatedly by the chief of police, it isn't difficult to suspect that when the LAPD took aim, they meant to strike this gallant reporter exactly as they did, right in the head with a tear gas projectile, striking him dead when he and 2 co-workers were only trying to grab a drink near the site of the anti-war demonstration on which Salazar was reporting. This reporter's sources have emphasized that the LA County Sheriff resented Salazar's columns exposing the misconduct of law enforcement agents, including police brutality and other violations. I have with me a witness to this tragic event. Tell me, how do you feel about the police's brutal response to the Chicano Moratorium?
Okay, I'm completely mad and disgusted at the police department. This man is going for the truth, for people who have been misrepresented and imposed against by the United States government. This man was brutally murdered by the police department in order to cover up their abuse against these people for getting their word out, and so the United States people can hear their side of the story and see what injustice has been caused against their people.
So, do you believe that this was an assassination attempt?
I do believe it's an assassination attempt. Ruben Salazar has been going out and trying to get these people's word out, and all the police has done is shown abuse towards this organization. This isn't the first time the Brown Berets have had police abuse against them, and they helped organize the protest.
The hooded gentleman in this video is Border Patrol. Those creatures he's attempting to vanquish are how he views the so-called illegal aliens. He's here with me now. Tell me, how do you justify denigrating an entire culture of Americans? It seems our gentleman from Border Patrol has no comment.
I make a deal.